The Baker's Gift. In a cozy valley lived a baker named Ilara. Her bread was the best for miles around, with a crust that crackled like autumn leaves and a center as soft as a cloud. But Ilara guarded her loaves carefully, for she believed her security was baked into the bread she sold, not the bread she shared. Every morning, a small boy named Leo would stand outside her shop. He never came to buy, only to breathe in the warm, yeasty air. He would close his eyes and smile, a private feast of smells. This puzzled Ilara. Smells don't fill a belly, she would mutter to herself, kneading her dough a little harder. One afternoon, Leo stepped inside. He held out his small hand, and in it was a river stone, worn smooth and gray by the water. "This is for the smells," he said softly, placing it on her counter. "It's my favorite." Ilara stared at the simple gift, a payment for something she hadn't even known she was giving. That night, Ilara couldn't sleep. The little gray stone sat on her windowsill, seeming to glow in the moonlight. She thought of Leo's happy face, smelling the air. For the first time, she baked an extra loaf, a small, round one, just because. It wasn't for selling, it was for something else. The next morning, she gave the loaf to Leo. His eyes widened, and his smile was brighter than the morning sun. He hugged the warm bread to his chest, and his joy was so pure, it filled the air like the scent of baking. A tiny warmth, not from her oven, sparked in Ilara's heart. Ilara started leaving a small basket of day-old bread outside her door each evening, with a sign that said, "Please, take what you need." At first, people were shy. But soon, the basket was always empty by morning, taken by travelers, hungry children, and old neighbors. The valley felt different. The children's laughter seemed louder, and people smiled at Ilara in a new way. The warmth in her heart grew with every loaf she gave away. She was giving bread, but she was receiving something much bigger in return. Then a great snow fell, blanketing the valley in a deep, silent white. The roads were blocked. No flower could get through. Fear crept into the village like the winter cold. Ilara looked at her own dwindling sacks of flour. She had enough for herself to last the winter. But then she thought of Leo's smile and the empty basket each morning. She stoked her oven until it roared with warmth and began to bake, not just for herself, but for everyone. When the villagers smelled the bread, they came. Seeing what she was doing, they brought what they had. The woodcutter brought his last logs for her fire. The farmer's wife brought a jar of honey. The bakery became the warm, beating heart of the village. They shared the bread, and they shared their stories, and they shared their warmth. When the snow finally melted, the valley was not weaker, but stronger, bound together by the simple gift of a loaf of bread. Ilara understood then that true wealth wasn't in the coin she collected, but in the joy she shared. On her counter, for all to see, sat a smooth gray river stone, a reminder that the greatest gifts come from the heart, and that giving is a feast that feeds everyone.